So we are halfway through the 30-day challenge where I've been creating one piece of short form content every single day. And I can't wait to share the results at the end of the challenge because already so much has happened in terms of growth and we're only halfway through the challenge. I honestly didn't expect this to happen, but let's just say that I am happy that I've changed things up and tried new things in order to experience growth on this channel. Because like I said in my previous video, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. So if you're not happy with how things are going at the moment, you gotta try something new. Now, going into this 30-day challenge, I was actually pretty worried. How in the world am I gonna create one short form video every single day for 30 days? Because in the past, they've taken a surprisingly long amount of time, you know? I've been doing my normal everyday work, creating long form videos, and all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, I gotta create a short form video. And then out of nowhere, you're trying to whip up a short form video for YouTube Shorts, for the Reels, for TikTok. But actually, it's been quite the opposite. I've been able to create a whole bunch of short form videos in a very efficient way. And I think it's because I've learned a certain workflow and system and different tips and tricks along the way in order to create short form videos. And that's what I thought I would share with you guys in today's video. So step number one in my short form content workflow is brainstorming. Going into this challenge, I knew that I'm gonna need a whole bunch of ideas for short form content if every single day I'm gonna be posting one video. For me, it really helped to come up with ideas by having different themes or formats for the short form videos. So I had different themes and I'm just gonna list these off. I had themes of camera gear, Lightroom tutorials, encouraging motivational thoughts, photography tutorials, videography tutorials, Final Cut Pro tips, before and after grades. Having all these themes helped because then I was able to put them into different corners of the page and then brainstorm different ideas under every single theme. And all of a sudden, in probably 1 hour of brainstorming, I already had 30 ideas laid out for this challenge. Now, along the process, I've had new ideas come along. So even though I had all 30 ideas already planned out, some of them I've just scrapped or saved for later, and I've done some of the newer ideas that I've come up with. For me, it really helped to have this bank of ideas because that meant I didn't have to just create one short form video at a time. Rather, I could take a whole bunch of ideas and continue on to step number 2, which was scripting. So once I had all of my ideas brainstormed out, I decided to take 10 of the best ideas I had so far and start scripting them out. And I found actually scripting short form videos a lot easier than scripting out long form videos because a short form video is essentially just one idea or thought. Whereas with the long form video, it's a whole bunch of thoughts and a whole bunch of ideas put together to create, you know, a 5, 10, 15 minute video, and it's a lot of scripting. So for the short form videos, I basically just scripted out the main thought for every single video idea, and then I was able to film a whole bunch of short form videos all in one day. For me personally, I really like to script out every single video word for word. I just find it really helps in the whole filming process for me to follow them. I might not say everything word for word, but it just gives me the guidance and direction that I need. I found that this whole process was way more efficient than before, where before I would just go and periodically create one short form video. So I'd have to come up with an idea, then I'd start scripting, then I gotta start setting everything up and filming. Whereas now I had a whole bunch of ideas brainstormed, and then I scripted a whole bunch of talking head shots, and I could film it all in one go. So now with this new short form video workflow, instead of just getting one video done, I was essentially getting 10 videos done in one sitting. Step number 3 is the whole filming process. And I'm gonna show you guys the whole background setup that I was using for these shoots. Basically, I had this as the background, and I had one aperture 300D lighting up the background to kind of separate me, and as well I used this aperture 300D and light dome to kind of frame my head in this space right here. And then I have another aperture 300D right here with the lantern to light my face, so I'm nicely lit up and the background's nicely lit up. For the camera setup, I just have a tripod with my Sony a7S III, the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, and then I'm using actually the Sony 24mm. And that's because I wanted to use the 1.4 to get a nice depth of field to really blur out the background. When I was filming, I would be filming at 4K 25 frames per second. That way I could punch in and zoom out in order to get different angles with the talking headshot. Whenever I would start filming, I would have my laptop on a chair right here so I can easily look over at my script and then start filming when I'm ready to start talking. Sometimes I might do this in one shot, other times I might just do it line by line depending on the script. Some scripts are harder and some scripts are easier to talk through. Also, quick little tip for you guys, in order to make the audience feel like you haven't filmed all your scripts in one day and to give a little extra production value, bring some extra outfits and change through those different outfits for different scripts. That way it looks like you've been filming these scripts on multiple days throughout the month. Little hack for you guys to make it seem like you're putting a lot more production into your short form videos. In the end, filming about 10 short form videos took about 2-3 hours. Being able to just nail them down in one sitting with all the scripts ready really helped with that. Then once I had my talking head shots, then I would just film the B-roll. So most of the time I'm just filming different product shots right here. You know, just filming with this backdrop right here, get my product shots, and voila, I'm ready. As well, to save time or for certain circumstances where it just wasn't possible to film certain B-roll that I would need, I was actually using a lot of the stock footage from Artlist. Artlist has really high quality cinematic stock footage that you can download unlimited with their new Artlist Max subscription. Now in the past, most people probably have used Artlist for their music and sound effects and paid the $9.99 monthly plan, but now for a low price of $29.99, you can get Artlist Max, which gets you access to everything. That means the music, the sound effects, the stock footage, their plugins, templates, everything for that one low price of $29.99. And since Artlist is a long-term partner of this channel, they've been kind enough to offer a link where you can get 2 months free with the yearly subscriptions. So if you want to save some money, use that link in my description to sign up for either their monthly plan to get their music and sound effects, or get the Artlist Max plan where you get everything. When it comes to Artlist stock footage, I really love the fact that they're super easy to find. They've done a great job on keywording. You write specific keywords that you're looking for, and you're gonna find an image that depicts the visuals that you wanna create. And as well, if you find one good clip, almost always there's a whole sequence that's been filmed around that, meaning you don't just have one clip to use, you have a whole sequence that you can use to tell a story. Having access to the cinematic high quality footage in Artlist library was super handy when creating these short form videos, because I could literally just listen through the talking head shots and just whatever kind of visual images would come to mind, I would write a list of them and then I'd go search for those different kinds of images in the search bar on Artlist website. And pretty quickly I was able to find a whole bunch of different clips that I could use in my short form videos just to spice them up and make them more appealing rather than just listening to myself talking like this. For each short, I had about 5 to 20 stock footage clips downloaded so that when it came to the editing process, I would have all my B-roll ready to go. Step number 4 in my short form video workflow is the editing process. Now, when I start off the editing, I always start off with talking headshots. So I go and cut through all the talking headshots. And I find that in Final Cut Pro, this is actually really quick to do, and I'm able to get that final message pieced together in no time. Some small tips for you guys: make sure when you're listening to the talking head shots, don't listen to it in normal speed. You can just double speed it, saving you half the time. And as well, you can look at the waveforms, because then you can see basically where you start and stop always. So I try to see where I start and stop, and I just try to quickly skip through the mistakes and then just go to the final segment of that slot. So I can really quickly see, okay, that was my first few takes, and this was the final take for that thought. Okay, I'm gonna take that final thought, cut the beginning, and then go to the next, and I just cut through the talking head shots very quickly. Also, having your keyboard shortcuts where you can easily cut everything from the left of the cursor or to the right of the cursor, or create a cut. So I use Q, W, and X, and that always cuts to the left, to the right, or a single cut through the middle of the clip. Once the talking head shot's ready, then I add all the B-roll shots that I filmed or the motion graphics that I want to include in that short form video. Once I've got my talking head shots, I've got my B-roll, I got my motion graphics, then it's time to color grade. And for color grading, all I'm doing is just adding adjustment layer with 2 custom LUTs. First, I put my correction LUT to get it back from log to Rec 709. And then I add my own personal customized LUT called the Cine Perfect Skin Tones LUT that I have in my shop. Now, make sure when you're adding any kind of color grade LUT, don't put it at 100%. So I like to have it at 60 to 70%. And then I notice as well, always when you're creating a LUT, or adding a LUT to your footage, you just gotta do a little bit simple, color correction afterwards. So I'll often just add a color wheel, color correction effect on top of my LUTs, and then just fix the white balance and any lighting issues that I might have had when filming. Again, the whole color grading process can take a little bit of time the first time, but then you can pretty much just copy and paste that color grading adjustment layer to all the next short form videos, because I often would be filming all of my talking headshots and B-rolls in one sitting. So essentially the lighting is gonna look the same, so you can use the same color grading adjustment layer on all the videos. The last step of my editing process was adding music and sound effects. I wanted to make sure that the music creates the right mood in my short form videos. For example, if I was doing more of a motivational, encouraging short form video, then I wanted to have more inspiring, uplifting music, maybe some piano, some orchestral sounds, strings, all that, to get that nice mood to the videos. Whereas if I was doing a more tutorial-based short form video, then I wanted to have music that's not too distracting, but still makes for an enjoyable experience. Now, all the amazing music and sound effects in my short form videos was from Artlist, which is a long-term partner of this channel this year, which is really exciting because I'm really enjoying having just fresh new music to use for my content. For the editing process, I found that instead of every single time trying to find one song for the short form video, in the beginning of this whole challenge, I just spent a few hours and just downloaded a whole bunch of fresh new music from Artlist that then I can just draw on from, because I just have this library of music to choose for my short form videos. The same was for sound effects. I spent maybe an hour or two just to find a whole bunch of different sound effects that I could use in these short form videos. And once again, this just really sped up everything. I find that whenever you can just create a library of tools that you can draw on from, rather than having to every single time when you're editing to go out and download more, it's just gonna slow things up. So you wanna make sure you take that time to kind of prepare for yourself to be faster editor. When it comes to short form videos, you want them to be really fast paced and moving and adding a lot of motion graphics and text. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they use motion graphics or text is that they don't combine it with sound effects, because sound effects is what really makes it come alive. And that's why Artlist is great, because they literally have thousands of different sound effects and they are keyworded really well, so you can just write different keywords of what you're looking for, and quite easily you're gonna find the right sound effects for the visual images that you're trying to show off. Now at this point, I've got my talking head shot put together, I've got my B-roll, I got my motion graphics, I've done my color grading, I've added the music and sound effects, and the last and final step is just to export the short form video. Now, a lot of you guys were commenting like, what are your settings? What are you doing to get such sharp looking videos on social media? And I don't have any, rocket science for this. All I'm doing in Final Cut Pro is just going File, Share, and then choosing the YouTube and Facebook preset. I don't know, it works for me. It's looking good when I'm posting on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. So those are the expert settings I'm doing for these short form videos. Nothing crazy, it just works. So yeah, that is my workflow for short form video content in a nutshell. Honestly, without the systems of having brainstormed ideas and scripted all the videos at once, filming a whole bunch of talking headshots at once, using services like Artlist, their music, their sound effects, their stock footage, it just wouldn't be possible to create, 5 to 10 short form videos in a day. But having this system, this place, the workflow, that's how I've made it possible to create so many short form videos in a day. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, hopefully you learn and have fun creating new content. Join me on the 30-day challenge and have fun with it and see what kind of growth you can experience on your channels. Okay, my shoulder is burning right now. I went to the gym today and holding up this GorillaPod and the FX3 with the NTG5, this is a new setup I'm using. It's tiring on the body. I gotta start working out and getting stronger to hold this bad boy up.